What's going on, everybody? This is an episode from the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast. Do you like podcasts and you want to see the full podcast? Make sure you check out the No Gimmicks Needed Wrestling podcast on all your podcast platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, among many others. But you're listening to the episode right here on YouTube, so make sure you hit that like button and below, and make sure you hit the subscribe button to NC Studios and NC Level Up for all your gaming needs. This is the Nerd Coalition. Enjoy the show. What did I say when we were going to talk about when we left 2 weeks ago? I said Dark Side of the Ring is coming back May 6th, okay? May 6th, Dark Side of the Ring is coming back, and we're going to talk about it. And what they did this time, the same thing they did last season when they released the first episode on YouTube. Mm-hmm. The first part, because we talking about Brian Pillman. So, Brian Pillman, I was a fan, like I said, I was a fan of WCW when I was growing up. And I remember Flying Brian, as they used to call him, before he became the loose cannon, and you know the Hollywood Blondes, Brian Pillman, and they did a two-parter on him because he did have a little bit rough life. So they did part one, they released it on YouTube, and then they did part two. It came out, everybody came out Thursday, something like that as well, and it was a back-to-back thing. So I was like, this is a good way to kick off Season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring, and we really got into the story of Brian Pillman. So real quick, this is going to be your overall thoughts real quick, prime time, on how'd you enjoy the episode, if it was missing something or if it needed something, and I'm going to go over, what I have in my notes about, the show.
I would just say, I was surprised that the mom was even in it, to be honest with you.
What was it? Melody, his ex-wife?
Yeah. I was surprised she was in it.
Bruh, can we both agree that time has not been kind to her, or drugs? You wasn't gonna say that, huh?
Hey, I'm not gonna tell you what I said when I first seen her. But
I was like, damn! I was
when they first showed her on the screen, I was like, oh my god! But
drugs and life just beat the shit out this woman.
Like somebody literally did that. All right.
Go ahead.
All right, I will stop because that is somebody's mom. But
it is. He was mad at her too.
Well, yeah. But that's all I gotta say. Is I'm surprised she was in it. I seen the shoot interview with Brian Pillman 4 years ago, or whatever. He was very upset still at her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my mom sucks. I was like, dang.
I mean, to be honest, after seeing this story, I'm like, whoo, they have a right to be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Each one of them kids have a right to be. Which, by the way, his oldest daughter, she spit her right out. She looked like. Do you not agree that she looks just like Brian Pillman?
Yes. Wait, you talking about the first one, Danny?
Yeah, the one with the short haircut.
Yeah.
He said, "4," and there you have it.
I was like, because they never said the gender. I was like, is this one of the ones where they want to go by something else? I was like, are you just not going to say his daughter? They never said his daughter.
Yeah, you right there, but she said I'm his daughter.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I'm saying, I was like, what are they? Are they not? Is she not wanting to call her that, or what? I didn't know.
I mean, look, I feel you. We are sitting here trying to be respectful. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
we got to do the best that we can. So, watching it, they in the two parts. In the first part, they talked about his raspy voice, and I was like, you know what? I remember Brian Pillman having a raspy voice, but I never paid too much attention to it or why it was raspy. But he had over 30 procedures as a boy getting his vocal cords scraped.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I don't know if it was an infection or a virus or something like that, but it kept coming back, and then that's what gave him a raspy voice. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Of course, they got into him playing for the Cincinnati Bengals, and then football players, when they tend to get injuries, they got to go try to find another career to help make them money, i.e. Lex Luger, i.e. Bill Goldberg. Yeah, like everybody, like there's football. Oh, Ron Simmons, football and wrestling literally go hand in hand.
But in the 80s and 90s, you only can get into wrestling two ways. Either you at a gym training and somebody come up to you, or you're a football player and you need somewhere else to go.
Exactly.
It's always them two stories. It's always, I was in the gym training. He said, why don't you join the WWF? So I did. It's always them two stories.
It's like literally 80% of the stories, or 90%.
Or there was a bouncer at the club and they ran into somebody.
Exactly. So he got his shot. He went up to Canada and went to that Hart family and went to that Hart family dungeon with Stu Hart in his basement. And of course, when people down there, with guys in special holes, they down there screaming and stuff. And hey, you talk about Dark Side of the Ring or a documentary. Why can't we ever get a story about the dungeon? You know how many stars? What you say?
Because Bret Hart's still alive.
Because I'm pretty sure if Bret Hart, if they wanted to do a documentary on his dad, or they wanted to talk about the dungeon, I guarantee you Bret Hart would have no problem doing it. I mean, because look, he'll tell the truth, but look who the dungeon progressed and made better.
Natalia, TJ, Tyson Kidd, and who else that's alive? Steve Blackman, who else?
Chris Jericho.
Okay.
Well, let's see. There, all the Hart family is dead. We didn't Chavo go down there? No, I'm sorry. Chavo was with Eddie on their whole family doing that whole other thing. Mark Henry was down there for a little bit.
A little bit, yeah, he was. Yep. That's not enough people alive, I don't think, to talk about their actual experiences.
I mean, if you think about if you get Natalia, Tyson Kidd, D.H. Smith, his son, you get Mark Henry, obviously.
You gotta listen to Teddy Hart. Never mind, cancel the whole thing.
He's
Yeah, if you gotta listen to Teddy Hart, we can cancel the whole episode.
I didn't say Teddy Hart, but I'm saying. But yeah, him going down to the dungeon, him graduate from the dungeon, which that's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't know why he was a member of the Hart Foundation stable. And I was like, which, by the way, I was a little upset they did not get into that in the documentary. They really did not mention his connection to the Hart family, especially when he did the whole Hart family.
I like the way that they did it. I know they didn't mention it. I wish they would at least put a picture or something, but the way that their story was going, I see why they didn't mention it, because they was talking about him trying to overcome his injuries, not like basically him, quote unquote, having fun. So, I can see why they did it that way.
Gotcha. When he was wrestling in Stampede Wrestling, which is that little promotion that they had up in Canada with Stu Hart and everything, that he was a reporter was writing on about him, Dave Meltzer. Yo, they showed inside Dave Meltzer's office. How does he know where anything is?
Because he's Dave Meltzer.
You seen his office, right?
Yeah.
And it's the first time I ever see Dave Meltzer's office, because everybody there's been rumors about it. People be talking about how junky that office is. I'm just like, all right, I've seen junky offices, but I'm like, bruh, there are papers. Like your tire wheels on your chair is on papers. How are you rolling around your office chair in that office?
He's probably one of those people that's, when it's junky, he knows exactly where it is. When it's straight, he don't know where nothing is.
Exactly. That sounds about right. That sounds about. You know what? Because I got a couple people in my family that's like that also. Where it's just like, oh my God, I know when it's junky. I know exactly where it's at. I know exactly where to go to. I'm just like, but how can you just in here?
Yeah.
No, I can't. Well, he started reporting him on the Wrestling Observer newsletter, which started catching the attention of WCW to come in and hire him. So at that time when he was in Atlanta or in Georgia, where WCW was at, he met his wife, and then he had his first daughter, who he thought was his firstborn, but then he realized he had another daughter that was 2 years older. from another woman. Also, so he, maybe they should hurt. Like I said, she looks just like Brian Pillman. Even his other daughter looks like him too. But that oldest one, spit her out. Okay, there's just no getting around that or denying that. They were saying, but Brian didn't treat his wife that well. He cheated on her many a times, and there was an incident where his wife was attacked with an ice pick, stabbed multiple times from some guy in Georgia in a bar, so that or wherever it was, attempted robbery attempt, which can I was like that could fuck your mind up.
The way that they did that story was very it was very out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was like let's start. Well, it was kind of like to throw it in there to show us how much of her trauma.
Yeah, but it was like, somebody tried to stab her with an ice pick and they didn't get it, but they got it in the face. Anyways, here's this powerlifting guy that he used to know. Wait, he's not gonna go back to that?
Exactly, they did kind of slide that in there. We talk about the tag team, the Hollywood Blondes. I was a fan of Hollywood Blondes back in the day with Stunning Steve Austin and Flying Brian Pillman. So, Stone Cold talks about the chain that Brian gave him, and if y'all haven't recognized, if y'all look at Stone Cold doing all the promos in '97 and '98, and so that like Stone Cold was wearing that chain that whole time, and even in '98, '99, even in 2000, he always wore.
Well, even when he wasn't wrestling, he was only doing only wearing the jorts and the vest. He wore the chain and the earrings. In the
ear, did it now. Also with that hoop earring, I remember that's when my cousin had a crush on Stone Cold, where he had that hoop earring and that chain. I was like, oh, here she go, falling for that redneck. So, he talks about that. He talks about Stone Cold was in line, or excuse me, Steve Austin was in line to get singles push for United States Championship. He was U.S. champion, and he didn't want to be a tag team at first, which none of them did. He was supposed to be solo stuff, but then the tag team worked. It got over, and they won championship. So now he wanted to be a tag team with Brian Pillman, and they had a main event shot at Clash of Champions when they were going up against Ric Flair. I don't know who Ric Flair's partner was, because I didn't see Ric Flair whooping their ass, because I don't remember seeing that at Clash of Champions. But ratings didn't do too good, so they blamed it on the Hollywood Blondes, and they broke them back up. So now, as Pillman's contract's expiring, I'm
glad to see nothing has changed.
About what?
They blamed bad buy rates on the characters.
Oh yeah, exactly. I'm like, y'all, can y'all understand that? Why is it none of y'all fault? You know what I'm saying? Why is it whatever. Because if Flair went out there with another big draw like Sting, and they still pulled a bad show, whose fault is it now?
I think Sting was his partner. I think it got Sting and Steamboat. I don't know. I don't know who it was.
It could have been. But while he was with Hollywood Blondes, he meets this woman named Melody. And we enter Melody, who was like a stripper at one point, and she was honest about everything. And he just left his wife and went on to marry her. And I was just like, damn, Brian, okay. Now when Melody got on there, I'm like, look, I was like, whoa, life was just not kind to you at all. Like, look at the pictures of her back in the day, and then of course now, I'm like, life just, you don't look the same at all. You look beat down. Yeah. And of course she looks beat down because of the wear, because like you've heard it before, like if you just live your life with hate and evil and stuff like that, you tend to age more drastically. And some of the things that she did, which she does acknowledge, I'll give her that she does acknowledge about them keeping the kids away from his first wife, and saying all kind of crazy stuff about about the kids and everything like that, and then just trying to manipulate and sabotage the kids that weren't even hers to go see their mom, because she is the mother of Brian Pillman Jr., his only son. And it breaks. They talked about the story of her mom and losing custody of the kid, and her, and Brian ripping her away, and they arguing, and she tried to go talk to him, and she picked up the phone. Melody picked up the phone, and was having none of it, and then come to find out, his first wife ends up killing herself.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Neither did I. I was like, that's heartbreaking within itself. And Brian felt bad about it, and she comes up and talks about how she felt bad about it. But this is one of the reasons why I think the kids don't like her in the first place. Especially after it's like she kind of helped contribute. She admitted
that too.
Say what?
She admitted that too.
Yeah, she did. I was just saying, I can't fault her because she admitted a lot of things in there. I was like, life has not been kind to this woman at all. So Brian Pillman sister said he was fine at the funeral until they closed the casket lid. That he really started bawling and crying. When his first wife was gone. I can only imagine. But so now it's like, okay, well, we're not doing Hollywood Blondes anymore. We're not flying Brian no more. He needs money. So, but right now we're in a ratings war between WCW and WWE. So now we starting to get the evolution of Brian Pillman as the loose cannon character, and how he would go. It looked like he was going off script. And as Jim Cornette was on the talk about, there's the regular fans and there's the smart fans that know what goes on in wrestling, but then they realize that Brian Pillman is going against everything. I'm kind of a little disappointed they didn't get too in detail with the match with Kevin Sullivan in WCW, and how he
I don't think they was, because he beat him. They was kind of fighting for real. He was like, all right, you win. I'm done. So yeah,
exactly.
I don't think they're going to go into detail with that. And plus, Kevin Sullivan ain't doing no interview. Remember they trying to reach out to him for the Benoit?
Exactly, you right.
They're gonna have to go into detail. They're gonna have to ask, how come Kevin Sullivan? They're gonna have to do all that. So
Yeah, Kevin Sullivan probably wasn't gonna be doing nothing.
Yeah,
none of that stuff.
They just took him out completely.
Yeah, but then so now they go. He tried to get more money from Bischoff. He doesn't do it. But now they say they can con Bischoff into getting him fired. So he can. No, so which story do you believe? Do you believe the Bischoff story or everybody else's story?
Until this point, I was setting in my mind of always believing the story that he just juked Bischoff and said he worked himself into a shoot. Basically saying you got to fire me for real, and Bischoff actually fired him. So I'm gonna just take that story. I'm gonna just keep that story in my mind, even if it's real or not.
Oh, it's just a better story, huh?
Yes. Better, funny story.
Yes. Yeah, fair. Okay, I'll take that. So he goes. I remember when Pillman got into ECW and he was doing the crazy things for ECW. So what then made so now he's catching buzz, going around being this loose cannon character. So he trying to get himself signed, but then all of a sudden he goes out and buys his $8,000 Humphrey car, and goes and has a terrible accident. Which, I mean, the accident, it shatters his ankle, and his ankle's just drooping, and they're sitting there trying to figure out how they can, put it back together, and then they gotta to talk about they gotta peel his scalp back to put a metal plate in, and to peel his face down to put a metal plate in. I'm like, they Frankenstein this dude right now.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. The craziest thing I heard in this whole episode.
What was it?
This man. Oh, okay. All right. His brother's having plastic surgery to come to WWF to feud with Shawn Michaels and be the evil Shawn. I thought Jim Cornette made that up. I swear I thought he made it up.
I was like, that was really like people really believe that he was getting plastic surgery to go and be the evil Shawn Michaels. Can you imagine that shit?
That is funny.
Shawn versus Shawn, evil Shawn versus Shawn. Can you imagine that?
That's hilarious. I can't even. Oh my god.
First of all, that would look creepy as shit, bro. If Brian Pillman come back as a variation of Shawn Michaels.
We know which one is the evil one. He can't do the super kick.
You right.
Yeah.
He be like, wait a minute, you doing super kick with the left leg? Yeah, no, he can't do that. That would that'll be wrong. Yeah, he can't do that. Oh man,
That was the craziest story I probably heard in the whole thing.
and so he was sitting there trying to recover and soaking, but then WWE did give him a shot, signed him a Raw in 1996, but he was.
They didn't mention that. Did you know that he was the first person to get signed under contract in the Wars?
No, see, I didn't know that.
See, they didn't. I don't think they announced it. But, everybody else was under a quote unquote contract, but they were under like the handshake in the 3 months. Every 3 months you can get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Every 2 months you get fired. Pillman's contract, I think, was for like 3 years. It's the actual contract.
Oh.
So they didn't mention that.
No, I didn't. Like I said, I didn't hear anything from them about that neither. But see, that's what I didn't know. But then he goes on, and they wanted to put him with Steve Austin because of the history they had, and then they talked about, but he still needed have ankle problems. He needed to go to the doctor, so they had Steve Austin do the beat down.
That was another favorite part.
Yeah, where the term.
Steve Austin was like, "I'm sorry, but I have to beat that song."
Bitch, he said, "Yeah, I stomped the mud hole and walked it dry."
I know your ankle broke for real in real life. I don't care. I gotta make this look good.
So. Exactly. I'm gonna give you a stiff beat. First of all, I was like when he said, "I stomped the mud hole and walked it dry." I was like, "Damn, okay." And he said, Pillman was a champ. He went there and sold that like that because Austin was very protective of his character, in which we got the terminology Pillmanize somebody So when somebody puts the folding chair into somebody's between a leg or their arm or their neck, they call it the Pillmanize. This is when that first happened.
But the thing is, I don't know about everybody else. His was legit, though. It was the legit leg and everything. So I'm like, it's just crazy to me to think that they usually in WWE they put on a different leg, not the one that's injured.
Yeah.
So he could look like he, something, but nah, he put on the actual injured ankle and everything.
Well, then we get they did. But then we get the whole Austin's about to meet Pillman, 9mm gun. The whole thing with Austin with the home invasion and how Pillman had the 2 security guards that was getting their ass whooped on the outside. Where Stone Cold legit, go back and watch the whole thing if they still got it up on YouTube or not. Where Austin, because there was these 2, I guess, with my hands going up quotations, bodyguards, and he takes this little tricycle from Pillman's kids, right? Launches joint right at this guy's head.
I can imagine.
I remember that right there, black guy's head. I was like, whoa. And then, inside there interviewing Pillman with the gun and everything like that. And then, of course, this is when Stone Cold breaks in, comes in there, and Pillman brings the gun and it cuts the feed. Some classic, great Attitude Era stuff. So classic Attitude Era stuff. Well, we already in part 2 as we talk about the accent after they come up with that.
I can't believe Vince had to apologize for that, though.
Say what?
I can't believe Vince had to apologize because people were offended.
You talking about the whole gun thing?
Yeah.
Well, that's not who she should have been apologized. He should have apologized for something else, but not the gun angle.
Hey, I wasn't gonna say it, but yeah, all right.
Yeah,
I resent your tone.
It was so bad to the point where Pillman would have the IV in, then he would take the IV out to go do recording and taping, then come back and put the IV in. I was just like, oh, he's just messed up. So then, of course, later on he started having a ride with Stone Cold. Well, not really, but he joined the Hart Foundation, and then they had the whole thing was a Canadian Stampede, which he never got into.
No, but the Hart Foundation is what he had the shirt, and it was like Pillman 9mm or something like that. That's when he had that shirt. They didn't even really bring it up, but I remember him wearing that shirt.
Yeah, they glossed over the whole Hart Foundation stuff. Then they also glossed over how weird it was with the whole Goldust feud.
Yeah, they just showed him fighting Goldust. They didn't really.
Yeah. Well, then there was bad blood on Sunday in 1997, and what they said usually all the wrestlers check in by 1, But things happen, flights miss, rain delays, whatever the case may be. But at 5 o'clock, everybody's accounted for but Pillman. And he called the hotel, and then, he said, one of our wrestlers supposed to be there. He called, he said, hold on. And he says, oh, yeah. The guy just, Quarterway Cornette tells the story. He's like, oh, yeah, Pillman is dead. What?
How many people has tried to trick jump in there where he don't believe anything?
Yeah.
So people like, oh, this isn't real. It was like, what isn't real? Like, no, man, this guy's dead.
And then he said, yo, call Bruce. I got Bruce over here. He said, yo, man, Pillman is dead. So they did the 10-bell salute thing for him on Raw the next night on Raw.
Why is it always the pay-per-view day they died in the night?
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
That is something else. But the thing is, now at this time, I was watching WCW faithfully because I wasn't in the WWE at this time in '97, so I missed the whole, thing about Brian Pillman dying and passing away. But then I do remember, especially going back, the whole Widow interview, which off the back shouldn't have happened.
Well, yeah, of course. That's everybody was saying they didn't like her for doing it, and they didn't like him for doing it either.
Exactly, and then Mel Buddy said, I won't answer questions about drugs, something like that. And then, of course, Vince McMahon posted the tearjerker question that he's going to ask about it anyway because it's Vince McMahon. He's going to do what he want to do. As the woman, despite how you feel about her, is clearly in some pain.
I mean, if they were on live TV, I ain't going to lie to you. If I was on live TV, I would have said, Vince, no. We already said we weren't going to even talk about this. So, no, I don't know. Like, I would have just kept doing that on live TV. What he going to do?
Yep, and it was tasteless because, like JR said, because they did it for a ratings pop. Mm-hmm. And that's how Mr. Vince sees the world, and everything is in business is for a ratings pop. And it's like, no, we're not going to do that. The funeral, it was only Vince McMahon and Jim Ross that went.
I don't believe that one. I mean, of course, if they say it happened, it happened, but I just can't believe out of all the people he made friends with, Stone Cold wasn't there, or like.
I mean, they did ask about WWE people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. See, that's hard. That's hard because I would have done my best to be there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I would have did my best to be there, but yeah, I don't know what you're gonna tell these people. Oh shit, my bad. Let me get my phone that loud. They talked about the after effects of him dying and how Melody got all the royalties from all of Brian Pillman's stuff, and she ain't share a dime with none of them kids.
None.
And she used it on drugs.
Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, life has been hard to this woman. And then hearing Brian Pillman Jr. talk about now he lost his dad and he didn't have nobody to teach him how to throw a baseball or football, and he was being abused. And his stepdad, my God, put him in his room and had the dogs trained to keep him in his room. You know how horrifying that is?
Yeah, that's horrible.
That is horrible. And then he said he was a gamer, got a GameCube. He loved that thing, but then his stepdad came in there and broke that thing from him. Like, everything I ever tried to love, he destroyed. And his mama was in there just up there getting high, and she looks like shit. I'm sorry. I know you had a story. Say what?
No, I was gonna say she did tell the story when she was like, was it alcohol poisoning or something that Brian found her knocked out?
Yeah.
Passed out. It's been some stories.
Yeah, but compared to like how she looked at the interview and how she looks now, bruh, it doesn't. People get older, but Brian Pillman died at 35 years old, so he wasn't an old guy at all.
Not at all.
By no means. So life hit her hard. So this is go by saying if she was 35 in 1997. So that will make her, let's see, 45, 55. So that will make her about 59 years old.
Probably.
Yeah. And I know she said that she wants to make up with her kids, so I guess all the kids, and hope that they forgive her before she dies. And Brian Pillman, he's like, I'm not gonna continue to be mad at her because it's exhausting to be mad at somebody. But I like how his older sister came up and took his kids underneath the wing, because it was a very tragic life for Brian Pillman. But I think it was a great way to kick off that opening episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
I think she's 55.
Oh, okay. Oh, but still, I mean, look, she just looks bad. Like the world beat her down. She looks bad, and she did a lot of bullshit in there, and I'm just like, oh well, say what?
I was gonna say honestly, the what's the middle girl's name?
I forgot what the middle one is named.
I don't know, but I'm surprised she even talked to her again, like ever. Like,
exactly, because she's the reason, or one of the reasons why her mama committed suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, like nah, man, because they didn't have that moment like they did the Ben Wild one where his son is going to talk to Nancy's sister and figure all that stuff out. No, it ain't none of that. In this one, it's like, we staying on this side, and you go deal with Brian Pillman Jr. And I mean, I know he's gonna probably try to make amends before she dies, and then maybe one day they can forgive her, but it ain't gonna be this day.
Nah, it's like who's that? That's it. That was it Nancy Benoit's sister?
Oh yeah, she said maybe one day I forget him, but it ain't gonna be the day. It ain't gonna be the day at all. So that was Brian Pillman. Next week I plan on coming back. We plan to come back to review the Nick Gage one.
Yep, Nick Gage. I'm interested to see Jake the Snake Roberts now.
Oh, bro, I already know Jake got some bullshit going on. This is
what his family does.
Yeah, well, line all the snakes up. You know what I'm saying?
His family is actually a famous family. Like the Hart family, but not as famous.
Mm-hmm.
They all miss